Welcome, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy to have you.
Hola, salud.
Cheers, salud. What was exactly that you felt that motivated you to move from San Francisco to Spain and specifically Barcelona?
Sure. Yeah. So when I think back, this was probably 3 years ago, I was at a point in my life where I was ready for a change. And I'd moved or lived overseas briefly at other points in my life. And I always knew it was something that was, in part of my passion. And so when this point came where I had the opportunity professionally to move abroad because I could work remotely. And there were other factors in my personal life that just kind of led me to this moment that, you know what, now's the moment.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, yes. And was something from Barcelona, for example, that specifically called you or you felt when you've been in Barcelona to realize, okay, this is the place?
Yeah, so I have to tell you a secret, which is I actually had never come to Barcelona or even Spain before I decided to move here, which I will talk about. And I obviously did before I made the commitment. But I was just really drawn to the energy of Barcelona, that it was very cosmopolitan, that there were, there's a vibrant tech community here.
Yes.
There's just a lot going on. And I almost felt like it might be an easier transition because there are some commonalities with the San Francisco Bay Area. And
oh, really? Oh, you should tell me more about that later on.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I want to know. I've never been to San Francisco.
Oh, yes, I think you would feel at home.
I like knowing and having the idea that may have something in common because I grew up also with the bridge in my mind.
Yep.
You know, to begin with the actual moving.
Yeah,
I would like to discuss a little bit in the planning to move abroad.
yes.
And I know you have a blog and you have a web and you are developing a project here in Barcelona now that you're settled. So I read all of them and many of them caught my attention and I find them super useful. And what I wanted to tell, I was thinking last night and I was thinking about, I need to tell this to Elizabeth because we are on the other side of the table every time, and somebody tells us, "I want to move to Spain. How do I do it? And how do I process these? What do I need, etc." And some people think it's simple, but it's a lot more complex.
Yes.
And what really helped the process with Elizabeth, for example, she made right questions. She was grasping every information she was getting from, and without any judgment or feeling of, no, I heard something else. No, she was there capturing everything she could from every conversation we had with humility, you know, because sometimes I process paperwork and it's like, we need to do this and that and this. And the other person says, no, I don't think we should do that. It would have to be someone else. And it's like, no. I mean, it's not going to take you to what you want.
Yes.
So what made work with you so special was that you were grasping the info, you were like absorbing and digesting, and we need to go through this, we need to do this step by step, and the planning you prepare to make this actually happen. So I would like if you can share with us,
Sure.
And because you have an interesting blog in your web about steps to actually plan your moving abroad, and if you can share with us a little bit your planning, and if there is something also in the planning besides logistics, mentally,
Yes.
to guide us a little bit, or guide all the other people that is willing to come to Spain with these steps.
Wow. Yes. So
I mean, it's a long question, sorry.
No. It's perfect. And to your first point about how some people come to you and say, no, we should do it this way or that way against what you know to be the right way. Yet there is a lot of misinformation out there.
Totally.
I follow some of these Facebook groups about moving to Spain from the US, and there are a lot of people with a lot of opinions, but they don't necessarily have expertise.
Totally.
And, one of the things that I value working with you is your expertise. I mean, you've done this so many times. You see trends, what type of visas are getting approved, which ones aren't. And so there are some people who think, okay, I can do this myself. The requirements are listed on the consulate website. I'm just going to do that. But what you share is what's kind of beyond that. Like,
Totally.
what do you need to do beyond the minimum requirements?
Because there is also something that people doesn't get or take into account is that there is also criteria. There is some subjective criteria when dealing with paperwork that we take for granted sometimes. And even though it's listed, even though it's super clear, it's like they're trying to find something.
Yes.
I know. I mean, honestly, it's like that.
Yeah.
And so this expertise you're referring to is actually that previous cases where they have come out.
Yes.
Something out of the hat, like we say it in sacado de la galera. We say it in Spanish. But this is super true.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciated when I was working with you how welcoming you were with all the info and everything I was sharing with you, that why shall we do this or why shall we do that instead of another thing. And this actually is very helpful because leads you to conquer what you were looking for.
Right, exactly.
I mean,
yes.
I want to be in Spain in 3 months. So what? Quite impossible, but let's say 6 months.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I would like to know more about, well, now it's going to be 2 years in Spain already.
Yep.
But I recall you had an article which was called My First Year in Spain.
Yes.
Where you talked about the ups and downs that you had during that year. So for someone that is coming, for example, getting ready to move, which would be a tip or a message or encouraging or something you can share with them about which are possible up and downs they might feel and how to deal with them?
Yeah. I mean, I think lots of positives for sure. I mean, it's just even, for example, enrolling in my Spanish school. Originally, I thought mainly it was obviously to learn the language, but it turned out to be this community, not just other people learning Spanish, so other expats or immigrants, but also the teachers themselves who were from here, who really kind of gave us the insider insights into,
suggestions about
exactly, not like places or how you do something, and we would do little outings. And so that was just so welcoming. And I just felt like I was part of a community very early on, and just meeting local people and being able to participate in local
traditions.
Exactly. Like in Catalonia in the spring, there's the calçots festival, which are the spring onions, and it's a huge thing. And being able to participate that, I had no idea about that. Yeah, and it was so
never saw an onion like that.
No, exactly. And so it was
because it's like that.
Super cool. And
I never saw a calçot anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, me neither. I
mean, we do have little onions, like leaves also, but the size of the calçot or eating it like that, it was totally new.
Yes.
But I love that you are mentioning or bringing up the Catalan culture.
Yeah.
Because Barcelona is located in Catalonia. Okay, Catalonia is a province of Spain, and they have this very strong culture, which we really like and we really enjoy when we are from abroad or we yet feel like foreigners here, although Barcelona is now our home. How have you found the Catalan culture, the language? Have you yet find something challenging? I remember you told, but this is not that much Catalan, the grape stories.
Oh, yeah.
But they do have, I mean, this is all in Spain.
Right, of course.
But I just found out also about the grapes when I was here in Spain. But something you're loving it from the Catalan culture, and something you might yet finding challenging. And tell me, how do you feel?
Yeah, so for me, that was one of the surprises or interesting discoveries for me. So before I moved here and I had visited here while I was planning my move, I knew Catalan was very important and that the Catalan culture was important, but I don't think I fully appreciated how
strong
important
it was.
and how yeah, it's just
Passionate
it's
there
part
about
of
it.
the fabric of
Yes.
the place. And so, hearing Catalan, seeing signs that were only in Catalan was like, oh. Okay. And actually, when I was volunteering at the animal shelter, there were a couple people, most of the volunteers were pretty young, like in their 20s, maybe even teens. And I would ask them, like, do you think in Catalan or in Spanish? And they all said in Catalan, which I think for me, coming from the outside, I thought, oh, it's a language people are trying to keep intact, but it's going away. But it's like,
No, it's not going.
It's not going anywhere. And it's so important to really understand that
Totally,
and appreciate it.
And appreciate it, and they love it. I mean, it's something that they feel identity with,
Yes.
like super
for
strong.
sure. For sure.
So with many years,
Yeah.
I ended up understanding it. At first, it was hard for me as well. It was like, I don't know, maybe job opportunities I had didn't lead me necessarily to speaking
Yeah.
the language at the beginning.
Sure.
But after having a son, for example, it completely changed. Completely changed my whole perspective about their culture, about their language, about how strong it is, how beautiful it is at the same time.
Yeah.
Because the more you dive in, the more you realize how passionate they are about it.
Yes.
And that's very nice. I mean, it's beautiful because that identity that sometimes, depending on where you are or from where you are, you don't have that super steady with you. I mean, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
But sometimes, I mean, I've met people from other places that I don't feel identity sometimes in them. But I do feel Catalan people. Oh my God.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Yes.
That's something I really like. Because
Yes.
it's something that makes you who you are,
Right.
I mean, it's weird. But it's something I enjoy about being in Catalonia. Do you feel the same?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. A friend of mine was saying, who's from Spain, but said, here in Catalonia, you're a foreigner if you're not from Catalonia. So even if you're from
yes.
if you're from Madrid or Andalusia or the United States, you're all in the same bucket. You're all outsiders. So I feel
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes, they have this strong identity in it.
yeah, me too. No, I really love it and appreciate it. And
I mean, it's true. At first, it was hard for me, but now I don't know. Something had changed in my mind also that I'm truly embracing it. It's weird.
my problem is I can fake it a little bit. So particularly now that I adopted a dog. So from the shelter where I was volunteering, I adopted a dog. So now I'm meeting a lot more neighbors in my community, and I live in a very Catalan neighborhood. And so I can say bon dia, I can understand, which is,
Sisplau.
buenos dias, sisplau, por favor, and, or gracias. And then but then they continue to talk to me in Catalan, and then I can't fake it anymore.
So I would definitely encourage you, as Elizabeth did, and if you're moving to Girona, I don't know, you can have Monday Spanish classes, but for example Thursday, Catalan.
Yeah.
They're gonna love it, and you're gonna feel the welcome inside of it.
Yes.
When they see you are also trying to get into their community, their way of living. Because somehow I try to call it like conscious migration.
I love that.
Not only like living there and I don't care,
Yeah.
but living there and also embracing everything. What do you think people often overlook when getting ready?
So definitely just factoring in those pieces are really important, and basically understanding the pieces and then setting a target date and working backwards to see, okay, now that I know how long each step takes, is this target date feasible? And if not, you need to adjust it, of course. But even things like if you're going to ship some belongings, as I learned, I had things shipped by sea.
I didn't know. I read in your
Yes.
article that you ship a few first, then later on someone else shipped them before. And this is because you were already moving with the visa granted.
Exactly.
And everything worked perfectly in our process.
Yes.
But trust me, I have clients, they begin with the shipping. Can you dive into it a little bit also? Because I think this is going to be helpful for anyone planning to move here, because it was even helpful for me, like to understand better, because I always thought it was like mindset or something else, but it's not. No, is what you were referring to.
Yes.
So it's. I mean, we can say we're discussing about like the cultural transitioning from where you are to Spain.
Yeah, so there was an anthropologist. I'm going to blank on his name. I think Edwin T. Hall, if I recall. He developed this cultural model as a way to understand different cultures across the world.
Good.
And he had different dimensions around that. And one of the dimensions was around context. So the way he described it is there are low context cultures and high context cultures. Low context cultures do not assume a shared background or experience. So the US is very on the extreme because we have people from so many places, people from around the world. It's a very large country, so even within the country there are differences. And because of that, we tend to be very explicit in the way we communicate. Everything, we spell things out in great detail. Other countries, like Japan, which is one of the more extremes, or Spain, which is also on that end of the spectrum, are considered high context.
Good.
Because there is very little immigration into Spain aside from a long time ago, but historically, people tend to have a very shared set of experiences, a shared context. So everything is not spelled out necessarily. And so for somebody like me or other Americans coming from a low context to high context culture, it can be kind of jarring because you feel like you're not getting the information you need to do something.
There's something missing.
Yeah, exactly.
Some steps.
Yeah, exactly. We're not able to fill in the blanks like somebody from here probably like, oh yeah, I know that. I can fill in the blanks. Yes, so everything from...
And this have an impact.
Oh,
I mean,
for sure.
It can change the whole prospect of the moving situation.
Yes.
Because when words fall short, there is missing info.
Yes.
I mean, I can tell you this super quickly and easy because I know it and I do it every day. But the other person on the other side, it's like, oh my God, the word empadronamiento. I mean,
yes.
You would never have ever heard that word before of registering in a town hall. What can be quite useful because everything is in the communication.
Absolutely.
Things can be super easy or super hard. And the in-between is just communication. Yeah. Going back, for example, about why would you consider it's helpful to get some expertise in the process of getting the visas? Because there is something that is real, which is expectation versus reality.
Yes.
like what I was pointing out, like LA, okay, we need to talk. Or
right.
I mean, there are some places that things might look like simple, but sometimes they're not. So and I recall you wrote an article super helpful in giving type of visas, etc. But the whole process, expectations versus reality of actually getting the visa, the process, everything. Any tips, or do you recall something that was helpful that might help other people that is looking to move to Spain?
Yeah, I mean, I think absolutely it's important to do your own homework, to be familiar with the different visa options. And, I do have a blog post on my website kind of outlining some of the options. But again, I think it's so worth paying for the expertise like from someone like you, because you've done it so many times. The strategies, the kind of maybe it goes back to the high context, the unspoken elements.
That
are there.
And they're super unspoken.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
You end up finding out sometimes during the process, yes.
Yeah, and I liken it, so, I owned a small business, I've worked for small businesses, and sometimes founders have a tendency to think, in order to save money, they're like, I can do it myself. Like accounting is a great example. I know basic accounting. I'm not going to pay for a bookkeeper, I'm just going to do it myself. Well, you could, but is that how you want to spend your time? In the learning curve to get there is a lot. It can be very costly. So in these situations, I'm pay for the expertise.
Totally.
Pay for and the same goes for like tax advisors to help with U.S. Spanish taxes.
This is super important. Yeah. This is super important. And for many types of visas, actually, I like to take this opportunity to give this advice. Get proper tax advisors from Spain and from the US. And if you can, have a call with both of them together. It will help you understand how this tax system works when you become a tax resident in Spain, okay? Because it's complex.
Yes, it is.
It's not as simple as it looks.
And it's very easy to make a mistake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in between, lose a lot of money.
Yes.
So it's complex, and definitely get expertise about it, and do a research even if you have to.
Yeah.
About who exactly should I contact, because means something. It's important. So thank you for pointing it out.
Absolutely. Yeah. No,
This is what we
Totally
refer
agree.
when we talk about like expertise. There are some things that we think completely agree. I thought I could do my webpage. No, I lost it like 2 months, I think. I was in the title.
and that's one of the reasons I started Vida Nova Abroad, because, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. And there are so many things I learned, and I figured, why not help other people based upon what I learned, the things I did right, and the mistakes I made. There's no reason other people have to make the same mistakes I made. Why not learn from me?
Totally
So
agree.
that's really the inspiration for starting
Oh,
it.
it's super nice.
Yeah.
And what is the Vida Nova Abroad about? It's going to be your coaching.
Yeah, so it's really a coaching and advisory service focused on midlife professionals who are looking to move to Spain. And so really looking at not just the logistical
Because-
component.
Yes, because it's different. Heard everything from a local. I mean, that you feel local.
Yes.
That from someone that maybe have not been in the shoes of the other.
Exactly.
So this is why I think, Vida Nova is interesting abroad. Vida Nova Abroad is interesting as well, because it's listening from you.
Yeah.
You have experienced the thing yourself.
Yeah, and it's not a relocation service per se. It's really about
Yeah.
the understanding, okay, what are your goals and expectations for moving? What does the actual planning preparation process look like? How do you acclimate? And so it's looking at all three phases, envision, prepare, acclimate is how I
I love it. I really like people have that opportunity to have someone to accompany to planning, because it's extremely useful and actually leads you to conquer what you have in mind. What you want to achieve. I want to live in Spain next July. It's only possible if you do planning.
Yes.
If you do step by step. It's might sound, oh, this is so complicated. No, it's not complicated if you do your job, if you do your homework, not job, your homework. It's necessary, because otherwise it can become crazy. What would you say to someone that is about to move abroad as well?
Yeah.
Which will be your message that someone is right on the edge and is yet hesitating?
Sure.
Am I ready? This happened now, or should I keep waiting, or which will be your message to them?
Yeah, I think the first part is really do your homework. So and not just homework like looking at what's out there,
Yes.
but looking inward and really defining what is it that I'm looking to get out of this. What are my goals? What are my expectations? How do I want to live? What's the implication for my career, for my family? And then doing your research, both, certainly there's a lot of information online, but you also need to be on the ground. I mentioned that I chose Barcelona before I came, but I also did a scouting trip here. Once I decided, okay, I think Barcelona is my place. I didn't lock in until I actually came and really experienced it. Exactly. So I think that's super critical. And I think it's important to know it is going to be overwhelming and scary. That's part of doing something new. And I think just having that growth mindset that, okay, if I don't know it, if I don't know how to do something, I'll figure it out. And, tapping into expertise, such as your expertise and expertise of others can really help.
To end, what would you say this journey has taught yourself about you?
Wow. I think that, I think I've always considered myself a pretty resilient person, but I think it reinforced that, and knowing I don't have to have everything figured out ahead of time. Yeah, we've talked a lot about the preparation, and yes, there are you absolutely will need to prepare. But then you need to allow yourself to just kind of go with the flow. And I think for me, just being able to let go of some control and just be like, it's just gonna evolve and
It's the unknown.
reveal itself.
Yes.
Exactly, and that's fun actually.
Yes,
and
totally.
so and I can embrace that. I think was a big.
Oh, I
learning
love
for me.
it because it's a totally, I mean, a mindset that
Yeah.
also changes. Because
Definitely.
I'm a really control freak. So
Yes, exactly. It's
sometimes
gonna
when
challenge
things are,
that for sure.
yes, but I do love the challenge. I mean, I choose challenges sometimes
Yeah.
because just to get out of this comfort zone, control freaking
Yes,
situation I
exactly.
have in my mind because it helped me.
Yeah,
But this, thank you very much.
my pleasure.
A lovely answer to all my questions. Are you happy in Barcelona? Are you feeling happy? Are you
Yeah.
happy with your decision?
No, I am very, very happy.
Oh, I
yeah,
love it.
no, and I'm really happy to also talk to anybody who's thinking of coming. I do, have a free intro session
Super,
if
super.
people want to reach out, and you can find me at vidaNovaAbroad.com.
Oh, super. Okay, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. We will definitely keep on having more episodes in the podcast with more guests that have experienced life in Spain, in Barcelona, and get to know the life beyond the visa. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Give me a like if you can, please. And you will also find a link above to have a one-on-one consultation to discuss your future life in Barcelona, maybe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.